Good day. Today, the flags of Asia stand tall and proud as we celebrate yet another year of our exemplars rising to embody the highest ideals of transformative leadership. Leaders and visionaries whose lives and achievements are flying high for all the world to see and be inspired by.
1957, the world lost an outstanding Filipino leader, but his example of unquestionable integrity, moral courage, and love for the common man gave rise to the Ramon Magsaysay Award. In its 66 years, the award has been widely regarded as Asia's premier prize and highest honor, a recognition that has been bestowed on over 300 individuals and organizations working in Asia. The Ramon Magsaysay Awardees, proudly bearing the flags of their nations, or the standards of their organizations, like insignias of their leadership. Insignias, standards, emblems, the people to imagine and create a world of equality and equity, one devoid of conflicts, a world of harmony, creating healing and progress, and in a world where faith sometimes hangs on a balance. Virtuous intentions and brave actions transcend boundaries of creed and geography and become powerful invocations. Prayers that offer a glimmer of hope, prayers that are answered by positive and much-needed change. The Ramon Magsaysay Awards, with every year that we welcome new Magsaysay laureates, bears testimony to prayers that are answered, with innovators, dreamers, and visionaries who have dedicated their lives in diverse fields and various communities to respond to the struggle of their communities and our world, raising their voices and bringing their hands together in prayer. And today, and every single day, that prayer is for peace. As we honor this year's Ramon Magsaysay Awardees, we tirelessly and joyfully celebrate the indomitable spirit of a united people and each person's capacity to actualize hopeful change, whoever they are and wherever they may be. This is the 66th Ramon Magsaysay Awards. Let our flags unfurl on and on and on.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the entry of colors. The Philippine National Anthem. Thank you. You may now take your seats.
American forces converge on the great capital of the Philippines.
All Filipinos found on the field of battle were subject to immediate execution. The enemy had orders from the Imperial High Command: hold Manila or burn it.
Among the bravest are native guerrilla soldiers who never gave up the fight through 3 years of Japanese occupation. Japanese are irresistibly driven back. Liberation of the great Pacific city of Manila becomes a fact.
Handsome little devil, wasn't I? I remember those days all too clearly. Mornings were the serenade of the chirping birds and the smell of fresh bread. Not the sounds of gunshots, nor the smell of rust and blood. As the night should have been greeted by a lullaby of shining stars and mother's soothing song. Not an empty echo of a eulogy. Farewells that we had no time to say for the fallen ones. and a daughter's silent sob. So silent, it was deafening. And so, that morning when the war ended, felt like a dream, unreal. It is all I remember, or I have chosen to remember since then. That morning, the winds breathed past my home. It looked nothing like the way I remembered it. Mama would never sit by the piano singing. My papa would never play the violin ever again. I shudder to this day to think what their final words were. The survivors took pity on my young heart. People close to my heart. And they spared me the details of their passing. It was only later on that I truly grasped the unspeakable horror those older than I, people who were so close to me, and strangers alike lived through. But those were enough to give me nightmares. Seeing my mama and my papa in fevered sleep to this very day. So I cling to the dream. I cling to the taste. I cling to the promise of peace. Today, I text my grandkids with my trusty cell phone, send video messages to my children, forward jokes and memes to my old friends. But here, I see the sundry posts, talking, warning of wars happening again, other wars coming, a new world war impending. An old fear wraps around my heart, cold. Fear for my grandchildren and their children's children. If war should come today, what price would they have to pay? And with all my heart, as my mama and my papa would have prayed when they were taken away from us. preserve us from war. Let there only be peace. Let there only be peace.
Let there only be peace. This is the rallying cry of Francis Mata, the actor, speaking as an everyman. Every man who, like him, lived through post-war Manila. Incidentally, Francis Mata is also the son of Nestor Mata, the lone survivor of the plane crash that claimed the lives of President Ramon Magsaysay and 25 other passengers on March 17, 1957. Let there only be peace. The prayer flags that fly above us now have peace in different languages written on them. A constant and unrelenting prayer for peace that unites all nations. For years, the Ramon Magsaysay Award was given in recognition of outstanding individuals and organizations who have devoted time, effort, and energy to different missions. No matter how diverse their fields of endeavor, all their exemplary works drive towards building a world of accord, of justice, a world of peace. Yet as we speak, armed conflict continues to rage on and claim the thousands of lives in different continents. In Asia, we are witness to the daily accounts of loss and anguish resulting from ongoing civil wars, from fighting between governmental forces and various armed groups, from occasional cross-border conflicts in the region. And of course, the ongoing Arab-Israeli and Ukraine-Russia wars continue to threaten international stability. Clearly, the conflict that is blazing a furious trail on so many fronts is a threat to every nation, to a world that seeks to live in peace. In 1959, during the second year of the Ramon Magsaysay Award, we recognized the Dalai Lama, and I quote, for his leadership of the Tibetan community's gallant struggle in defense of the sacred religion that is the inspiration of their life and culture, end of quote. At 24, he was the youngest recipient of Asia's premier prize and highest honor, the Ramon Magsaysay Award. It was a privilege to have had a private audience with him at his residence in Dharamshala, India, only last September. Today, he continues to be a strong voice, advocating for what he calls a human approach to world peace. Violence begets violence is the Dalai Lama's warning, which resonates strongly in these present times. Sadly, in the Philippines, in August this year, we lost one of the staunchest of our own peacekeepers. In 1975, he founded the nonprofit Assisi Development Foundation, which went on to benefit millions of impoverished Filipinos, especially our brothers and sisters in Mindanao. In the 1990s, he was the chair of the Philippine government's Peace Panel and was the lead convener of the 1990 National Peace Conference, which he envisioned to involve all sectors of society, including Muslim separatists and communists. This year, the world lost this quietly heroic leader, a champion of justice and a gentle warrior for peace. We lost 2018 Ramon Magsaysay Awardee, Ambassador Howard D. To Ambassador D's mind, it was widespread injustice that we must all fight. Economic, social, cultural, and judicial injustice. He firmly believed that without justice, there can be no peace. Today, with peace becoming increasingly fragile, as the world experiences conflict on all fronts, we salute the Ramon Magsaysay Awardees who have made peace building their life's work. Pamnyun Sunim from Korea, a Buddhist monk who formed South Korea's Jungto Society to apply Buddhist teachings to the full range of modern ills. Laxminarayan Ramdas from India and Ibn Abdur Rahman from Pakistan, leaders of the Pakistan-India People's Forum for Peace and Democracy, who jointly worked in building popular support for peace in their borders. In 2010, Tadatoshi Akiba from Japan received the Magsaysay Award as mayor of Hiroshima for his global campaign for complete nuclear disarmament through Mayors for Peace, the first Japanese leader globally recognized for his work against the use of nuclear weapons. Miriam Coronel Ferrer from the Philippines, founding member of the Southeast Asian Women Peace Mediators, who was also chair of the Government Peace Panel in negotiations with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front that led to the signing of the Comprehensive Agreement on the Bangsamoro in 2014. We continue to be at one with the more than 300 Magsaysay awardees past and present. We hold fast to our themes of visions unbound, letting our prayer flags for peace unfurl, symbolizing the diverse voices and visions that contribute to a collective pursuit of a better future. Let peace begin with each of us, keeping peace in our homes, in our workplaces, in our respective communities. And let our leaders remember the Dalai Lama's words, each individual has a universal responsibility to shape institutions to serve human needs. With all of us serving as peacekeepers in our own right, then perhaps we can finally dare to imagine a world where peace will reign in every home and in every nation.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No help below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger, a brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
In these critical times, we must all live as one. We are galvanized to action, heeding the urgent call to create a better world in every way we can. Good afternoon and welcome to the 66th Ramon Magsaysay Awards presentation ceremonies. The chairperson of the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation, Cecilia Cheche L. Lazaro.
Esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation, it is my distinct honor to welcome you to the 66th year of the Ramon Magsaysay Awards. As most of you know, the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation seeks out individuals and organizations who do their work in Asia and for Asians, offering the best of themselves to a cause that they have chosen to embrace. Certainly, there are many such other awards in the world today, but the Ramon Magsaysay Awardees are distinguished by an intangible quality that we call greatness of spirit. I heard the phrase for the very first time when I became a trustee of the foundation. Although difficult to define, its description includes the passionate pursuit of the purpose that serves a common good, commitment in the face of adversity, personal sacrifice, and rare selflessness. Qualities that mark the legacy of the 7th President of the Republic of the Philippines, Ramon Magsaysay, and that live on in the remarkable individuals that we are honoring tonight. President Magsaysay believed that true leadership is not about power or prestige, but about honesty and transparency, actively rooting out corruption and fostering accountability to restore public confidence, he was the most enlightened leader of his time. At this point, let me mention how delighted we are to have among our audience the family members of President Ramon Magsaysay, and for the first time on stage, his grandson, Francisco Paco Magsaysay. They have never failed to attend the awards, and it's been 66 years now. For the past 66 years, the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation has been seeking out transformative leaders who made the difficult choices early on in their lives, choices that eventually define who they are, and in turn, how their work redefines our region. From activists who tirelessly call out social injustices, to community leaders who patiently work with the marginalized, From public servants who serve with honesty and integrity, to scientists and innovators who devote years to discovering ways to heal our world. From artists who wield creativity and imagination to help us connect to our true selves and to one another. To the humanitarians and peacekeepers who hold aloft our shared dream that a global community free of violence and conflict can be achieved. These are the transformative leaders whose greatness of spirit we celebrate with the Ramon Magsaysay Award. This year, we celebrate 4 individuals and 1 movement. They have reinvigorated societies, have restored and protected our rich natural resources, have reimagined the power of art, have revitalized systems in ways that uplift an entire population, and have repaired broken spirits. Collectively, those we honor today have expanded and extended the limits marked by our past, allowing us to realize more of Asia's latent potential. From Bhutan, Karma Phuntsho. Merging Bhutan's rich and colorful past with the demands of contemporary times is a challenge that Phuntsho decided to take on. With a Doctor of Philosophy degree from Oxford University, he could have pursued a comfortable career as a scholar and academic. Instead, he set up the Loden Foundation, using his knowledge and skills to improve the lives of thousands of Bhutanese through education and social entrepreneurship programs. He has since expanded their work to include cultural preservation, documenting Bhutan's largely oral history, as well as its customs and traditions. The Foundation's work strengthens Bhutan's sense of national identity and provides a pathway for its citizens' future. From Indonesia, Farwiza Farhan. Farwiza is a young progressive Muslim woman who could have chosen to join the corporate world and the limitless opportunities it offers for the young, the smart, and the attractive. Instead, Farhan chose to go in the opposite direction, heading straight into the forest to safeguard Indonesia's massive looser ecosystem. 3 things worked against her. She was female, a Muslim, and young. But it didn't stop her. What she does today with her dynamic team in Yayasan Haka is not easy. For over a decade, she has led conservation efforts where she faced capitalist interests and government interference amidst harsh ecological terrains. Her unwavering commitment and determination to not give up has inspired countless young people in her country and around the world, proving that real change can happen. From Japan, Miyazaki Hayao. In a world where many chase fleeting trends, seeking the safety of what is popular, few choose the path less traveled. Among them is Miyazaki Hayao, who made an unusual choice. He wanted to create films dedicated to the children of the world, films that could speak to them about profound truths in a language they could intuitively understand. Animation. Through the filmography of Studio Gilby, which he co-founded, he has redefined children's cinema and cinema as a whole, handcrafting animation narratives that transcend entertainment. Through his choice, Miyazaki shaped and will continue to shape multiple generations of thinkers, inspiring a deeper appreciation of the world and hopefully a more compassionate future. From Thailand, the Rural Doctors Movement. Many are so focused on the comforts and conveniences of city life in their pursuit of greener pastures that they neglect to see those left behind. Shunning the allure of urban living, the Rural Doctors Movement instead chose to represent those often overlooked, the millions of Thai citizens who struggled for access to essential health care. For decades now, this movement has devoted itself to ensuring that even the most remote communities receive the care they deserve. Their work extends beyond clinics and hospitals. They confront deep-rooted inequalities, advocating for laws and policies that support universal health care. They embody selfless service, putting people first. Through their choice, they have transformed the Kingdom of Thailand, restoring not just health, but dignity and a sense of worth to communities long marginalized. From Vietnam, Nguyen Thi Ngoc Phuong. While many seek to bury the bitterness of the past, Nguyen Thi Ngoc Phuong made the extraordinary choice of confronting the devastating wounds of war and its lingering aftermath. As an obstetrician in post-war Vietnam, she witnessed firsthand the crippling effects of Agent Orange on mothers and children. Instead of turning away, she committed her life to uncovering these injustices and caring for the victims, becoming a relentless advocate for their rights. Her journey led her to becoming the voice of those who had long suffered in silence. Through her choice, she has transformed despair into a pathway of healing, proving that the call to justice is the balm. It can overcome even the darkest chapters of history. Their work is inspiring. It reminds us that change is not merely the domain of the powerful few, but that it belongs to all of us. Whether through small daily actions or bold transformative decisions, every individual plays a role in shaping the future. True progress demands more than passive observation. It requires the courage to speak up, the willingness to act, and the strength to persevere, especially when the path is difficult. Karma Phuntsho, Farwiza Farhan, Miyazaki Hayao, the Rural Doctors Movement, and Nguyen Thi Ngoc Phuong are our 5 Ramon Magsaysay Awardees for the year 2024. We at the Foundation are grateful that they have all accepted the Ramon Magsaysay Award and that they will continue the legacy of President Ramon Magsaysay, who throughout his life faced countless challenges, yet entrusted his choices to an uplifting moral compass, greatness of spirit in serving the Filipino people with honesty and integrity. Thank you for joining us in celebrating these extraordinary leaders. May we too, in our own small ways, choose to take the higher yet often difficult path to achieve greater peace and justice in Asia and the world. Thank you.
The members of the Board of Trustees will now read the citations for the 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Awardees.
The 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Award for Emergent Leadership, Farwiza Farhan. As the world's largest archipelago, Indonesia is blessed with abundant natural resources and biodiversity. But it also has come under severe pressure from human growth and exploitation. This is no more apparent than in Sumatra Island's Lucer ecosystem, a 2.6 million hectare expanse in Aceh province, where some of the world's most highly endangered species have managed to survive. However, despite being named a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2004 and a protected national strategic area in 2008, the Lucer ecosystem has continued to be ravaged by deforestation, infrastructure, commercialization, and weak law enforcement. Worse, the Lucer Ecosystem Management Authority, or Badan Pengelola Kawasan Ekosistem Lucer, or BPKEL, which had been fighting the ecosystem's destructive intruders in court, was abolished by the Aceh government in 2013. Instead of giving up, some BPKEL ex-employees got together to form a new organization called the Forest, Nature and Environment of Aceh Foundation, or Yayasan Hutan Alam dan Lingkungan Aceh, or HAKA, dedicated to protecting, preserving, and restoring the Lucer ecosystem. Leading HAKA from the beginning was a young woman named Farwiza Farhan. Born in Aceh in 1986, Farhan, as a young girl, had fallen in love with its natural beauty, leading her to study environmental management. Returning to Aceh, she was stunned and saddened to see how her beautiful forests had been ravaged by commercial exploitation. Taking it personally, she joined BPKEL. When it was shut down, she founded HAKA. Instead of depending solely on the government, HAKA believed in the power of local communities to fight on their own behalf. Since its establishment, among other successes, HAKA helped to achieve a court verdict against a palm oil company that burned forests in the Lucer ecosystem and stopped a hydroelectric dam that would have threatened the elephant's habitat. But an equally important victory has been HAKA's mobilization of Aceh's citizens in protecting their environment. HAKA's programs for and with women are particularly effective and encouraging. Women are given paralegal and citizen journalism training, are engaged in micro-entrepreneurship, and organized into women-led ranger groups that patrol forest areas. In a society where women have traditionally been relegated to secondary roles, none of these would have been possible without the energetic, courageous, and visionary leadership of Farhan. A young Muslim, she has defied conventions to lead and inspire a new generation of Indonesian women coming into their own and taking charge of their future. For her efforts, Farhan has been recognized by many international institutions. With foresight and tenacity, Farhan is a prime exemplar of what can be done against all odds. Quoting her, she said, "I can't stop global temperature from changing, but if it's the forest, there's a bit more than I can do than surrendering to global challenges." In electing Farwiza Farhan to receive the 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Award for Emergent Leadership, the Board of Trustees recognizes her profound understanding of the vital connection between nature and humanity, her commitment to social justice and responsible citizenship through her work with forest communities, and her promotion of greater awareness of the need to protect the beating heart and lungs of her country and Asia's rich but endangered natural resources. Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Awardee for Emergent Leadership from Indonesia, Farwiza Farhan.
Farwiza Farhan of Indonesia will now deliver her response.
The Board of Trustees of Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation, my fellow Ramon Magsaysay Awardees, members of the Diplomatic Corps, fellow activists, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. While I am humbled and honored to receive the Ramon Magsaysay Award for Emergent Leadership, the truth is, more than feeling humbled and honored, I'm in disbelief. I could not believe that I'm entrusted with this recognition, an award that I would not even dare imagine. I would like to thank the Board of Trustees of the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation for your trust, your support, but more so, the risk in bestowing me with this award. Although it is my name inscribed on the medallion, this recognition is not mine and never will be mine alone. The conservation work in the Loiser ecosystem is being done by an entire community of dedicated and passionate individuals. From my colleague at Yayasan Haka, my co-founder, Badrul Irfan, our partners in the village and at the government level and in civil society, as well as our donors and long-term supporters. This award is theirs, and I stand before you to represent all of the people who are united in environmental protection. Today, as we celebrated the good work that is being collectively done in the Loiser ecosystem, the forest in Singkil Pit Swamp is still being decimated. This is the proof that our work is far from over. I am grateful that while there is so much more to be done, that there are many people willing to collaborate with us. Together with Dandi Lasono, the fellow Indonesians who received the same award in 2021, we are launching a film called 17 Sweet Letters, a chronicle that poses the question, how well conserved are conservation areas in Indonesia? As we roll out the promotion for this documentary yesterday, the authorities are already using tactics of intimidation to prevent its release and wide circulation. But it takes more than brute force to slow down a bunch of stubborn fighters like us. Bang Badrul, Rubama, Lukman, Irham, Fahmi, Agung, dan Ihsan, kegigihan dan ketangguhan kalian menjadi pilar kekuatan kerja-kerja kolektif kita. Your grit and determination have become the pillar of our collective work. I am grateful that we continue to find many stubborn fighters to be our allies. I hope you will join us in ensuring the destruction of Singkil Pit Swamp is discussed in many parts of Asia as possible. In closing, please allow me to express my deepest love and gratitude to my parents, Dr. Ahmad Farhan Hamid and Ms. Ferry Soraya, people who have raised me to be the person I am and never give up on me when everything seems dark and impossible. Please stand up so others could see you too. Finally, no words could describe my gratitude to Priyo Sambodo, the man who chose to marry the stubborn fighters and continue to support me in the work that I do. Please also stand up so others could see you too.
The 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Award, Karma Phuntsho. Standing on the eastern edge of the Himalayas, the Kingdom of Bhutan has been described as the last Shangri-La. Its relative seclusion and natural beauty make it one of the world's most desirable places for tourists to visit. Bhutan is a low-income country, facing many of the same problems and challenges confronting other developing countries: unemployment, inadequate social services, and the erosion of traditional values. About 12% of its population live below the poverty line, and many of its youth seek greener pastures abroad. With rapid change taking place due to modernization and globalization, Bhutan has been experiencing serious tensions. This reality has been foremost in the mind of Karma Phuntsho, a Bhutanese thought leader who was a former Buddhist monk, has a profound understanding of Bhutanese tradition. But Phuntsho, born in 1968, is also an Oxford-educated scholar who feels the need to bring Bhutan into the 21st century in a mindful and culturally sensitive way. His academic works in the field of Buddhism and Bhutan's history and culture focus on reappropriating Bhutanese traditional knowledge and making it relevant to the present and future. In 1999, Phuntsho founded the Loden Foundation, an educational charity committed to promoting education, nurturing social entrepreneurship, and documenting Bhutan's cultural heritage and traditions. The works of Loden Foundation mirror Phuntsho's own aspirations and interests as a scholar and change maker. Loden literally means possessing intelligence, but it is grounded in the Buddhist belief that knowledge has no owner and that empowerment through education is the greatest gift. Begun as a scheme to support poor but deserving students in Bhutan, the foundation is registered as a civil society organization with partners in many countries. Loden's accomplishments have been life-changing. It has supported preschools, scholarships, and dialogues on important issues, and mobilized unemployed youth to become social entrepreneurs through loans, mentorship, and capacity building. Veering away from traditional business approaches, Loden emphasizes social value over profit, hoping that responsible and ethical business practices will foster a caring economy and a culture of responsible production and intelligent consumption. Acutely aware of the need to preserve and promote Bhutan's rich cultural traditions, Loden has also engaged in documenting and digitizing its oral and written heritage. While these were achieved through collective effort, none would have been possible without the personal vision and dedication of Phuntsho, whose thoughts, words, and actions guide these programs. He practices what he preaches as an exemplar of humility, responsibility, and commitment, while nurturing young new leaders to take over from him. As modern as his outlook is, his vision continues to be informed by his deep spirituality. He says, with so much distraction and confusion caused by the digital revolution, there is today even a greater need for inward reflection and focus. That's why Buddhist culture is so important for the future of Bhutan.
In electing Karma Phuntsho to receive the 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Award, the Board of Trustees recognizes his invaluable and enduring contributions towards harmonizing the richness of his country's past with the diverse predicaments and prospects of its present, inspiring young Bhutanese to be proud of their heritage and confident in their future. Beyond his immediate horizon, his work engages all peoples and cultures around the world facing the same challenges, reminding them to look back even as they move forward. Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Awardee from Bhutan, Karma Phuntsho.
Karma Phuntsho from Bhutan will now deliver his response.
Honorable Trustees of the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation, fellow awardees, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, Kuzu Zangpola, good evening. I bring you greetings from the King and the people of Bhutan, and also in the world's largest pocket, a sample of prayer flags containing the message of wisdom, compassion, peace, and prosperity, which matches the backdrop theme of this year's celebration. I'm deeply humbled to be one of the recipients of the Ramon Magsaysay Award this year, and to be the first one from Bhutan. Yes, I've done voluntary charity work for over 25 years, but I've never imagined that I would be given such a prestigious award. Bhutan is a small country, and even smaller by population, with only about 770,000 people. So what we do in Bhutan in terms of number is tiny compared to what the other awardees and laureates do in the bigger countries. Thus, I would like to express my deep appreciation to other awardees for their incredible work, and also my sincere gratitude to the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation for the recognition of their great works. What Bhutan lacks in size and number, we try to make up in inner spirit and sense. Bhutan is one of the last nations to go through the process of modernization. We have seen our first streets and cars only about 60 years ago. Yet, Bhutan is charting a bold new trajectory of development and human progress by balancing tradition with modernity, economic development with environment conservation, and material comfort with spiritual well-being. So in this regard, I see this award as a token of recognition of Bhutan's pursuit of holistic development under the visionary leadership of our monarchs. Bhutan may not be the happiest place on earth as some travel publicity materials may have you believe. It has only last year graduated from the least developed countries category and is today grappling with its own share of problems. But I am so pleased to report to you, Bhutan is the first carbon negative country in the world with a constitutional commitment to keep 60% of the country under forest cover for perpetuity. We have made and we continue to make efforts to pursue human well-being in its totality. I would also like to take this award as a token of appreciation of the works of civil society organizations in Bhutan. And more specifically, I would like to dedicate this to the hundreds of people, teachers, family members, and friends who have joined me in the projects, the non-profit charitable projects that I'm involved in. The primary one being the Loden Foundation with its 3 programs of supporting education, of fostering social entrepreneurship that we call bodhisattva entrepreneurship to benefit both oneself and others, by promoting a business culture, a caring business culture of responsible production and mindful consumption. And then also of preserving and promoting Bhutan's traditional culture of wisdom and compassion. I'm joined here by my friend Sangye Tsering, who was once a beneficiary of Loden and is now the president of the Loden Foundation in Bhutan. And Kinle Tenzin, the communication officer of the Loden Foundation. Please stand up. And also by Anne and Gerard Tagdi, 2 of my dearest friends from France, who are very strong supporters and members of the Loden Foundation. Can you please stand up? Friends, ladies and gentlemen, humanity today is going through an alarming pace of change. Our species, the Homo sapiens, is said to have been around for over 300,000 years. But in the last 300 years of industrial revolution, we have seen tremendous change that shifted our way of life. And today, digital revolution, which is barely 30 years old, is again drastically changing our way of life. The talk of town today is artificial intelligence and what it can do for us. But human intelligence, the core of humanity, remains as fickle, precarious, and confused as never before. We face multiple challenges of climate change, war, inequality, rampant stress and restlessness. And the primary cause of today's problems is not out there in nature or in the material world. It is really in here, in human greed, hatred, and ignorance. Fortunately, the solution to those problems are also within us in the human mind, in our understanding of the interdependence and interconnectedness of life, in empathy and compassion, in courage and resilience, in acumen and wisdom, and in selfless service and greatness of spirit, the ideals and the values that the Ramon Magsaysay Award celebrates. So through my work in culture and efforts to make cultural values and practices relevant to our present time, I've come to believe that our ancient wisdom traditions have as much to offer to us today as they did in the past. So looking back can help us find a new and a better way forward. And those of you who are familiar with the words of Philippines' greatest hero, Jose Rizal, would know. A person who does not remember where he came from will never reach his destination. With this, let me conclude with a prayer from Shantideva, an 8th century Buddhist saint scholar on whom I'm working on these days, and a prayer that captures the highest human ideal and the spirit that is fitting for the occasion. Jisi namka nebata toa jisi nejurba desi tan nejur toe dungel selwar show. As long as space exists, so long as sentient beings remain, may I too remain to dispel the misery of the world. Thank you.
The 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Award, the Rural Doctors Movement. For many developing countries around the world, universal health coverage remains an elusive dream. Poor people living in the countryside are often the most affected, with little or no access to the most basic health services.
For Thailand, now an upper middle income economy, this is no longer true. Universal health coverage was finally implemented in 2002. And it has since been hailed as a system that offers largely free medical care to Thai citizens. But UHC and other landmark achievements in the Thai healthcare did not happen overnight. Rather, they were the result of decades of struggle waged by progressive, visionary, and dedicated Thai physicians in both professional and political arenas to secure adequate and affordable health care for their people, especially the rural poor. Those doctors banded together in what has been called the Rural Doctors Movement, a combination of the Rural Doctors Society and the Rural Doctor Foundation. While many doctors belong to both, the Rural Doctors Society is an informal and more flexible organization, and the Rural Doctor Foundation is a formal NGO comprising doctors working in public hospitals. The emergence of the Rural Doctors Movement is rooted in the 1960s, when many Thai medical professionals left for greener pastures abroad. This forced the government to impose compulsory services in the countryside for medical professionals, exposing them to its harsh realities. In the early 1970s, a pro-democracy movement swept Thailand, advocating for greater freedom and socio-economic justice. Many idealistic young doctors joined this movement. Students went to the rural areas to study poverty and inadequate health care. This experience and awakening are best expressed by the former president of the Rural Doctor Society, Vichai Chokavibat, who recalls that, and I quote, "When I was a rural doctor, I saw many people taken ill and becoming almost penniless. They had to sell their farmland or even their daughter to get enough money to pay for their medical treatment. It was such a painful and bitter experience that we dreamt of providing free medical care for the sick." End quote. In 1978, following the brutal suppression of the student movement, many medical students sought refuge in rural areas. To be able to continue to operate under the new regime, the Rural Doctor Society and later the Rural Doctor Foundation were formed, with leaders with activist backgrounds, among them Choke Vivat, Chuchay Supangwongsi, Ringsak Wacharan Nukulkit, Supat Hasuwanakit, and the late Sagwan Nita Yarun Fong. The RDS fought for greater civil liberties against corruption in the 1990s. Through their influence in health governance, the Rural Doctor Society doctors continue to advocate for policy reforms. Through the more formal Rural Doctor Foundation, progressive healthcare programs are implemented more effectively utilizing official channels. The impact of the movement on Thai society is palpable and enduring. Thailand's rural doctors have demonstrated how vital, adequate, and affordable health care is to social justice, how necessary democracy is for positive social change, and how the spirit of volunteerism can achieve superlative results.
In electing the Rural Doctors Movement to receive the 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Award, the Board of Trustees recognizes the historic and continuing contribution to the health of the Thai people, and perhaps just as importantly, to their recognition and fulfillment as citizens with basic rights. By championing the rural poor, the movement makes sure to leave no one behind as the country marches forward to greater economic prosperity and modernization. Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Awardee from Thailand, the Rural Doctors Movement.
The Rural Doctors Movement of Thailand will now deliver their response.
Board of Trustees of Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation, fellow Ramon Magsaysay Awardees, ladies and gentlemen. สวัสดีครับ I am Dr. Supat Hasuwanakit from the Rural Doctor Movement. As far as we know, in the 66 years history, the Ramon Magsaysay Award have always given to individual or organization. It is our great honor to be the first movement to receive this recognition. The Thai Rural Doctor Movement emerged alongside the democratic movement of students and citizens in the mid-1960s. During that period, Thailand faced a severe shortage of doctors in the rural areas, exacerbated by the brain drain to the United States. So the Ministry of Public Health had to implement the compulsory policy for medical students to work in rural area for 3 years after graduation. This policy made newly graduated doctors face hardship in the rural hospital. They have begun to unite their efforts to support each other and to provide better care for the rural people in the scarcity of the resources and disparity in our country. The Rural Doctor Federation was established in 1926 for this reason and renamed as the Rural Doctor Society in 1978. 3 years later, the Rural Doctor Foundation was founded to be the official organization of our movement. This is the beginning of our movement to reform Thailand's healthcare system. After the victory of the students and citizens in the democratic movement in October 1973 against the military government, we saw the opportunity to improve our society, and we pushed one of the articles into the Constitution that emphasized that the importance of the public health, mandating that, quote, the state provide free health care to the poor and require the state to offer free services for the control and prevention of dangerous communicable diseases, end quote. This provision has remained in every subsequent Thai constitution despite several coup d'etat. This provision and the development of health infrastructure were the crucial foundation that enabled us to establish the universal health coverage system successfully in 2002. Though the accessibility to health facilities had been improved, we still saw many patients hesitate to get the treatment because they have more money to pay out of pocket. Some of the patients, they have a serious health condition, they ask the doctor to send them back home, even though they should be transferred to get the higher, better medical treatment. So, the universal health coverage was our holy grail, as it will bring people to the equity of healthcare. To achieve this, we did the research, set the agenda, communicate the suffering of sick people to society. We campaign and create policy advocacy strategies. And when there was the election in 2001, the window of opportunity was open for us. And the Thai Rak Thai Party got interested in this policy and put it into their campaign. After the Thai Rak Thai government was formed, the universal health coverage policy was implemented. But the task of our movement was not yet finished. We continue to work hard to decrease the resistance, improve the benefit packages, cooperate with health professionals, raise their spirit to work in the underserved areas, and most importantly, be the watchdog for corruption. Recently, when COVID-19 struck Bangkok, we set up the Rural Doctor Rescue Bangkok operation to screen and give treatment in the capital. Our mobilization of rural doctors have helped many urban poor through that hard period. Our spirit to contributing to the equity of the society align with the ideology of the late President Ramon Magsaysay, who believed that those who have less in life should have more in law. ladies and gentlemen, working for the people to reduce inequity is a never-ending mission. Received the Ramon Magsaysay Award, confirmed that the Thai rural doctors movement are on the right path, and serve as a significant encouragement for us to continue forward. We believe that this universal health coverage is crucial, and we would like to see every country make a strong effort to achieve universal health coverage in near future. Thank you very much. However, we still have nearly 40 Thai rural doctors and our family here, so please stand up. Thank you.
The 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Award, Miyazaki Hayao. Despite being initially looked down upon as mere entertainment, animation has come into its own as an art form, indeed among the most popular in the world today. By producing the illusion of motion, early animators brought wonder and delight to audiences wherever it was introduced.
Over time, animation did more than entertain. It became a useful and effective medium for education. Today, with the help of artificial intelligence, digital animations has pushed the boundaries of the possible in both positive and negative directions, further blurring the line between illusion and reality. Beyond topics of interest to children, animation now tackles mature and complex subjects, from war and psychosocial trauma to climate change and sustainable development. For some, animation is a technique, a clever combination of art and engineering. For a dedicated few, it is a passion and a way of life, a means of exploring truth through the magic of visual fiction. Among those few, one name stands out, that of Miyazaki Hayao, born 1941, the co-founder of Studio Ghibli. Established in 1985, Studio Ghibli has produced many of the world's most memorable and beloved animated feature films, including the 1988 classic, My Neighbor Totoro. More than being commercial successes, these are works that display a deep understanding of the human condition. That could be said of most notable films, except that Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli have set the bar higher by aiming for viewers that could be the most difficult to engage and please: children. Ghibli films have a devoted adult following, but for Miyazaki, children comprise a critical audience capable of embodying complex issues if their imaginations can be suitably provoked. He says, "I think it is vain to think that we can confront problems of the adult world through animated films. That is not to say that films aimed at children are easier. They can be even more difficult because they deal with origins and fundamentals. But I think these are concepts that are especially suited to animation. I want to depict the reality of present-day children in Japan, including their desire, and make films that will inspire heartfelt enjoyment. This is something fundamental, something we should never forget." Reflecting his respect for his young audience, Miyazaki does not simplify his plots or stories. He tackles complicated issues, whether it be about protecting the environment, advocating for peace, or championing the rights and roles of women in society. Some of these subjects can be sensitive and controversial in the context of traditional Japanese society, but Miyazaki handles them as a good teacher would, connecting with the young, opening their minds, raising fundamental questions, and inviting them to map the way forward. He educates by entertaining. Beyond his craft, it is Miyazaki's humanity that has engaged millions of viewers around the world. His sense of what connects us to nature and to one another.
In electing Miyazaki Hayao to receive the 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Award, the Board of Trustees hails a gifted and exemplary artist who has demonstrated in his work and outlook a lifelong commitment to the use of art, specifically animation, to illuminate the human condition, especially lauding his devotion to children and the charged barriers of the imagination. To them, he has passed a light and spark of his own. Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Award from Japan, Miyazaki Hayao, represented by Yoda Kenichi.
The response of Miyazaki Hayao of Japan will now be delivered by Yoda Kenichi on our Ramon Magsaysay Awardees' behalf.
ご来賓の皆様、こんにちは。スタジオジブリの与田健一です。スタジオジブリの
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening.
スタジオジブリの取締役の与田健一です。
My name is Yoda Kenichi. I'm the representative of the Studio Ghibli.
スタジオジブリの共同創設者である宮崎駿に代わり、第66回ラモン・マグサイサイ賞の授賞式に参加できることを光栄に思います。
It is my great honor to represent our co-founder, Mr. Miyazaki Hayao, to attend the 66th Ramon Magsaysay Awards.
受賞にあたり、宮崎からの手紙を預かっておりますので、代読いたします。
Please allow me to read a letter that Miyazaki-san has written for this occasion.
マグサイサイ賞の名前を初めて聞いたのは子供の頃でした。
I first heard of the Ramon Magsaysay Award when I was a child.
学校の校庭だったと思いますが、先生からこういう賞ができたという話があり、印象的な名前だったことから心に残っていました。
I think it was in the school playground, and my teacher told me that such an award had been created. The name made me impression, so it has remained in my mind ever since.
この受賞を機に、改めてフィリピンに思いを馳せました。
Being honored with this award made me think of the Philippines once again.
2016年、当時の天皇皇后両陛下がここマニラを訪れ、マニラの市街戦に触れながら命を失った多くの戦没者を慰霊しました。
In 2016, the former emperor and empress visited Manila, which was the setting of urban warfare during World War II, to pay their respects to thousands who have lost their lives.
日本人は戦時中、 ひどいことを散々したんです。
The Japanese did a lot of terrible things back then.
民間人をたくさん殺しました。
They killed many civilians.
日本人はこのことを忘れてはいけません。ずっと残っていくことです。
The Japanese people must not forget this. It will always remain.
そういう歴史がある中で、フィリピンからマグサイサイ賞を贈られるということで、厳粛に受け止めています。
With such history, I solemnly accept the Ramon Magsaysay Award from the Philippines.
本当にありがとうございました。
Thank you very much.
The 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Award, Nguyen Thi Ngoc Phuong. Lasting for 2 decades, from 1955 to 1975, the war in Vietnam left a deep and horrific trauma, with more than 3 million deaths officially reported by the Vietnamese government. But these deaths were hardly the end of Vietnam's ordeal.
Half a century later, even newborn babies continue to suffer from its lingering effects, paying a heavy price for a conflict they merely inherited. That lethal legacy literally remains in Vietnam's war-ravaged soil and its environment. The culprit is tetrachlorodibenzodioxin, TCDD, or dioxin for short, a component of Agent Orange, extensively used during the war by the Americans to clear the forest cover and expose their enemy, as well as to destroy the crops that sustain them. Soon after the war, physicians reported a troubling increase in the incidence of miscarriages, skin diseases, cancers, birth defects, and congenital malformations among the people. What took just seconds to deploy has damaged 4 generations of victims. The suffering continues, but so does the fight against the effects of Agent Orange. That effort has been led by Nguyen Thi Ngoc Phuong, born in 1944, the former director of Tu Du Hospital, the country's largest obstetric hospital. Phuong came of age and became a doctor over the course of the war. At its peak, in 1968, she recalls that, quote, "When I was an intern, I delivered, for the first time in my life, a severely deformed baby. It had no brain and limbs. Since then, every day or two, I have witnessed such birth defects and mother's sufferings. But for many years, I didn't know what caused these tragic events." End of quote. That terrible mystery led her to undertake her life's great mission, to find out the truth about Agent Orange, to seek justice for its victims, and to assist the afflicted in all ways possible. Phuong and her associates established that people in areas sprayed with Agent Orange suffered from birth defects 3 times more than in other places. She published her research and joined the Vietnam Association of Victims of Agent Orange or Dioxin, or VAVA. Beyond the laboratory, Phuong has taken up the cause of Agent Orange victims with the American Public Health Association, among other international forums, and supported legal action to seek compensation from chemical companies. She is widely respected wherever she goes, recognized for her sincerity and humanity beyond political considerations. At the same time, she has remained the baby doctor she always was, a pioneer in vitro fertilization in Vietnam, bringing joy and hope to thousands of Vietnamese families who call her Dr. Fairy. She has also served in the National Assembly, championing legislation on family planning and reproductive health.
In electing Nguyen Thi Ngoc Phuong to receive the 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Award, the Board of Trustees honors not only a woman and physician of extraordinary dedication and talent, but also the spirit of public service and the message of hope she continues to propagate among her people. She offers proof that it can never be too late to right the wrongs of war and gain justice and relief for its hapless victims. At the same time, her work serves as a dire warning for the world to avoid war at all costs, as its tragic repercussions can reach far into the future. Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Awardee from Vietnam, Nguyen Thi Ngoc Phuong.
Nguyen Thi Ngoc Phuong of Vietnam will now deliver her response.
Honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with deepest and sincerest gratitude that I accept the 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Award. I extend my heartfelt thanks to the Board of Trustees of the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation for electing me to receive this recognition. Being chosen for the Ramon Magsaysay Award is not just my honor. It belongs to all of my colleagues and the peoples of Vietnam who have selflessly dedicated our lives to this cause. Our journey began in 1976 at the Zoo Hospital, where my colleagues and I conducted retrospective study followed by numerous surveys and case control studies on Agent Orange dioxin in provinces across southern Vietnam. The results were both staggering and horrifying. We have established the causal effects of Agent Orange dioxin on both effects in children of exposed mothers or fathers of exposed mothers or fathers dioxin We have been raising global awareness about dangerous effects of Agent Orange in dioxin, especially the dioxin contaminant on reproductive health and its carcinogenic impact effects that are still being felt 4 generations after the end of the war. We have also been helping victims by demanding accountability for these horrors by bringing them much-needed justice, including testifying before the U.S. House of Representatives on the long-term consequences of Agent Orange dioxin. We hope that through our efforts, the quality of life of the millions of victims will improve, and their physical, emotional, and spiritual wounds be healed, that we, as a country, will heal. The Ramon Magsaysay Awards will greatly encourage VAVA members and I myself to continue our work supporting and advocating for the Agent Orange dioxin victims as they face life's profound challenges with remarkable resilience. This prestigious recognition sends a strong and resounding message to the global community that we need international understanding, not warfare. We need conflict resolutions and not weapons of mass destruction. We need peace. I dedicate Ramon Magsaysay Awards to the millions of victims of Agent Orange and dioxin. Thank you.
And now it is my pleasure to introduce this year's keynote speaker. He is an Indian social entrepreneur who in 1995 founded Celco India, a rural energy service company that views energy access as an underlying precondition to catalyze progress related to health, education, livelihood, and financial inclusion, leading to overall improvement in the quality of life. In 2011, he was elected to receive Asia's premier prize and highest honor, the Ramon Magsaysay Award, for his passionate and pragmatic efforts to put solar power technology in the hands of the poor through a social enterprise that brings customized, affordable, and sustainable electricity to India's vast rural populace, encouraging the poor to become asset creators. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2011 Ramon Magsaysay Awardee from India, Harish Hande.
Thank you. Dear trustees of the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation, members of the Magsaysay family, my co-Ramon Magsaysay awardees and their respective families, distinguished guests from all across Asia, friends, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I should thank the Magsaysay Foundation that after 2011, one thing that I have lost is all my hair because of the award. Now, but what type of world do we want to live in? There are two types of world. One that is common sense, equity, inclusivity, sustainable. The other one, I don't even have to mention that, right? Imagine, do you want to hear always a wailing kid, a crying kid that is taken out from the rubbles of the buildings, which has been destroyed by a missile, right? And then we name the kid orphaned, destitute, refugee forever. Or taking Mr. Miyazaki's inspiration that we create a whole generation of creative kids. Do we, for example, talk about a generation, do we want a generation of kids who in the future will go back and say, this is the tent I lived in. This is where my house was destroyed. This is where my parents were killed. As an inspiration for the kids, or get inspired by Mr. Karma's journey of what my upbringing was. Where did I learn the positiveness of what I'm actually delivering it to you, right? Do you in the future imagine many of the kids have to go on the internet to see what type of species of plants that existed, or go to the zoo to see the animals that actually existed outside? Or do we get inspired by Ms. Farhan and say, can we not look at saving the forests and saving natural resources, but doubling that, increasing that? Can't we inspire those kids? For generation of ours, do we also let a generation get despair, saying that I can't do anything after looking at the photo of a naked small child running across with the burning back of the Agent Orange? Oh, I can't do anything. Look at what Ms. Phuong has done out of such a wonderful, created something so beautiful out of such despair, what she has done over a period of time, right? Then, do we also let the generation say that equity will always exist, inequity always will exist? It's okay, the rich will be rich, the poor will be poor, the middle class, and it's only the rich and the middle class will get services, the poor will remain because of the access. Can't we get inspired by the rural doctors movement who have democratized health services, which is one of the most difficult service to provide, and that's what leads to poverty to exist, right? Now again, as I said, we have two choices. One, the choice, the war of destruction. The second is the war that actually we should fight. There are two things that we need to fight against: poverty and climate change. These are wars that actually makes the population go forward, not backward. Can you imagine, why are we wasting the times of the doctors to go and actually save lives in destruction? We are going back. Most of the doctors are actually in the whole war zones to make sure that people live, for the other people who want to destroy it. We want engineers to start creating solutions for the poor to get more livelihoods in a sustainable manner, rather than to design destructive drones and missiles. Don't we? What is the path? The path of war against poverty and climate change moves the population forward. The continent of Asia. The continent of Asia has more than 350 such beautiful examples, and you've seen 5 of them today. They take the world forward. Asia is a capital of solutions. We are a capital of positiveness. We are a capital of hope, and we are a capital of sustainability. It is time for us to give a different narrative, a narrative of colonization, and it's a narrative of colonization, right? And the colonization, what we should all do is colonization through solutions. Empathy, involvement of the poor in our solutions to lead to a world that is beautiful, sustainable, and automatically peaceful. Isn't that common sense? And where is that common sense at all that is gone today? And look at the spirit. The spirit of Magsaysay, the spirit of the President Ramon Magsaysay lives on with the awardees today and the 300 plus awardees that have gone by here. But we should no longer rest on the whole thing of it lives on. The spirit in all of us should actually multiply in a manner that a kid who wakes up tomorrow in the slum of Manila, in the slum of Nairobi, the inner city of New York or Chicago, is born on a day where we don't need to talk about equity. We don't need to talk about gender. We don't need to talk about sustainability, because that's what the world is about. Is it so difficult? Is it so difficult to do all this? Because we have those solutions of creativity that every kid who's born in the slum of Nairobi to Kenya to inner city of London, where we have the solution as the continent. Do you know why? Again, I'm saying, do we have two choices? One choice is of peace. Do we actually have another choice at all? Do you know why? Because we have only one thing, that is one earth. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. To our guest of honor, 2011 Ramon Magsaysay Awardee from India, Harish Hande. Out of the 353 laureates since 1958, 170 had passed on by 2023. This year, we lost 6 more Magsaysay awardees. We now honor their memory and their greatness of spirit.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now present to all of you the 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Awardees, Farwiza Farhan of Indonesia, Karma Phuntsho of Bhutan, the Rural Doctors Movement of Thailand, Miyazaki Hayao of Japan, represented by Yoda Kenichi, and Nguyen Thi Ngoc Phuong of Vietnam. May we request Chairperson Cheche Lazaro and Paco Magsaysay to join the 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Awardees. Once again, the 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Awardees. The 66th Ramon Magsaysay Awards presentation ceremonies are now concluded. Thank you for your presence. May we request you to rise for the exit of colors. May we request everyone to please remain standing until after the recessional. All are invited to greet the 2024 Ramon Magsaysay Awardees at the gallery of the Manila Metropolitan Theater.